about 15 years.
How's that for you? You're fucking sat there as a 17, 18-year-old.
Yeah.
And they're like, you're going to do 15 years inside. Like, that's... You've barely been alive that long.
Exactly, yeah. In my mind, I was just like, nah, it can't be. It doesn't sink in because you can't think that far, especially at that age. You can't imagine that far in the future kind of things. You're just like, nah, that's not real. I'm not going to end up doing that.
Welcome to From Rock Bottom, the podcast where we explore real stories of struggle, survival, and strength. Each weekly episode features honest conversations with people who faced mental health battles, addiction, trauma, and life's darkest moments, and found a way to rise again. A quick content warning: some of the topics we discuss may be distressing or triggering. We talk openly about mental health, addiction, and other sensitive issues. Please listen with care, and if you need to, take a break or reach out for support. You're not alone, and this space is here to remind you of that.
Boom, and we are on today. I am joined by Declan Moore. Now, some people watching, listening to this might not like Declan. They might not like his story, but Declan's not here to be liked. He's not here for sympathy. He's here to raise awareness how 10 seconds of madness can give you a life sentence.
Definitely.
And that's exactly what happens. He's here today to share his story. Declan, how you doing?
No, I'm good, man. You?
I'm good, mate. Thank you for travelling.
That's alright.
Why are you so happy, man?
I don't know. This is me, man. This is me.
Off to a good start.
Some good energy, man.
Yeah. So, Declan, a bit about you. You got a life sentence.
Yeah.
A lot of people who don't understand the system think a life sentence is a life sentence.
Yeah.
Just explain what a life sentence is.
So life sentence is just usually like a minimum term. So they'll give you, so in my case, I got 12 years. So I had to do a minimum of 12. So I couldn't 10 years come on and be like, oh, let me out now. Like that didn't matter. I have to do a minimum of 12. Then I go for parole and then they make the decision if they let me out. Why it's probably still classed as a life sentence because you're on license for the rest of your life. So like 99 years. So now I'm out. If I don't know, rob a shop or something like that, I'll go straight back to jail and I have to go for parole again and have to go through the whole process. And that's pretty much why it's called a life sentence.
Yeah. So basically you're, after hanging over you could be recalled.
Pretty much anything.
For bare minimum as well. Yeah, whereas a lot of people, if I went out now and committed an offence, they'll bail me out. I could be waiting 6 months for a trial.
Yeah.
Whereas you, straight away.
And then it could be, the charges could kind of get dropped or thrown out and they'll be like, yeah, we'll still wait until your parole comes around. And that's the kind of like, the pressure that you're kind of under. Yeah, they're always on you, man.
Yeah, so, that's a life sentence. You did 12 years, life sentence.
Yeah.
And you're here to tell your story.
Yeah.
Right, so start from the start, take me back to your childhood.
Childhood. Do you know what it is? My childhood was good. I'm the youngest of 5, so like I got 2 older brothers, 2 older sisters, so I was just always the baby. And it was good, man. Mum and dad in the house, so it wasn't like kind of like your stereotypical kind of like dad wasn't there and mum had to work and you was by yourself, like raising yourself. It was a good home, man. Both my parents worked and stuff like that. It was chill. It's probably the thing that probably happened. My brother, the one that's nearest my age, he got involved in a bit of gang stuff as he got older. And then probably me seeing that as I was growing up, because he's like 9 years older than me. So as me watching that, it was just became like the normal thing. But it wasn't like my dad was involved and my mum was like this. And you know what I mean? It wasn't like a family thing. He just so happened to catch up with my brother and then caught up with me.
What kind of gang stuff we're talking about with your brother? Was it just like kids knocking about or organised?
It was more this would have been Johnson's and Burger Bar crew kind of days, and so I wouldn't say there was like organised like some like mob cray kind of family, but obviously they had their own like back and forth. There was obviously drugs involved, there was guns involved, there was that type of stuff, and I'm not going to try and like make it out as if my brother was like a head honcho of anything, but he was involved. He had people around. I saw some things at age that I shouldn't have probably seen, and kind of like obviously that influenced you, and you kind of just normalise things. Yeah. So like growing up, he got stabbed twice when I was younger. So he got stabbed once. So that became like a normal thing to me. He got stabbed once. Obviously, I was like, my brother, is he all right? Yeah. And he kind of brushed it off. Me being his little brother, he's not going to come to me and say, oh, it was a skit. He was going to be like, nah, man, I'm good, man. Don't worry. Da, 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 da. So that stuff kind of probably imprints on me. And I'm like, oh yeah, these things just happen and you get over them and you come out of hospital.
He was making stabbed cool.
I don't even know if he was making it cool. He was just making it not as a serious thing as it actually is. You get what I mean? And I think maybe for him to cope with it or to not make me panic as his little brother, he just kind of just brushed it off and I'm like, yeah, man, look, I got thingy and that, but I'm all right, man. Don't worry about it. You get what I mean?
So what age was you when you started noticing your brother?
Ooh, so I must have been about, if he's 9 years older than me, I must have been around 7.
Okay.
Like 7, 10. You kind of like them ages there when I'm like really noticing and I'm seeing people like around my locker. I'm from Erdington, so seeing people around there kind of scared of him or like showing me a bit more respect because of my brother. Yeah. You get what I mean? So you start really noticing and stuff like that, and you're like, oh, okay then. My brother's kind of somebody, and his friends come around and they're all chilling and they look like the cool kid. You know what I mean? Like you just see all that stuff and you like in your mind you're like, when I get older.
Yeah. These are the boys in it.
These are the boys. These are the cool people. You see them with girls and stuff like that, and I'm a little kid. You know what I mean? So it's it does imprint on you, even without him trying to do that. Yeah. He's just living his life, and I'm just seeing it and just kind of like glorifying it and making it seem like, this is an amazing thing, not knowing the truth behind everything.
So your influence was your brother.
Yeah.
What was your brother's influence? Because you had a good mum and dad.
I don't see this. What I mean, I don't know. So my oldest brother is my half brother, but he never lived with us.
Yeah.
So I couldn't even say it was him.
Yeah.
I think I couldn't tell you exactly. It might have been. You just get older. You're around school. It's that kind of area.
You think just a victim of his environment.
And just a victim of his environment a little bit. So it weren't like directly his family because. Like, we was all good. We was at home. We would listen to our parents. We would wash up if we grounded. We got grounded. It wasn't like we was like rebellious and no one could tell us anything. But it was more of a thing like, but when I'm out here, I'm doing what I'm doing. That's how I kind of took it. And I could see it as like, so we're an athletic family. We was like strong and stuff like that for our age. So I can imagine being a younger kid and you're a lot stronger than everybody else. Someone tries to mess with you, but you beat him up. Yeah. And now you get that kind of reputation of guys that beat up. And then the older lot that are like 2 years older, and they look at you like, he's a serious dude. Yeah. And then you kind of get, you know what I mean? They kind of bring you in and they're like, come chill with us. And then now you're in that kind of life. And I feel like maybe not trying to talk for my brother, but I can imagine that was kind of the way that it went.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, it's like, council estate areas, the schools are always shitholes in reality. And it's either you're in with a crowd or you're the crowd that gets bullied. Exactly. It's one of the two, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Who would you rather be?
Exactly. And then when you're choosing your crowd like everyone would do, because we're all impressionable teenagers. Definitely. We want to fit in. Yeah. You know, none of us want to get bullied. Yeah, exactly. So we fit in, and then obviously your education goes to shit.
That, and then it just leads to more and more nonsense. Yeah. So I think that's where I kind of got my start in the street life kind of thing. Anyway, if that's what you want to call it.
How were your parents with what your brother was doing?
This is what I mean. I feel like we was kind of, I don't want to say good at hiding it, but in the sense of like when we came home, we weren't bad kids. So it wasn't like my brother was coming home and he was smoking around the house and disrespecting this, and you know what I mean. He would come home. He's coming home. He's washing up, doing what he needs to do, and playing like the role of like, when I come home, I'm not the same person as I am when I'm out there. I'm respected out here. When I come home, mum and dad are the head of the household, and I've got to listen to what they've got to say, kind of thing. And again, like I said, we was into our athletics thing. So my brother, he was really good. He was like, for his age. When he was a teenager, he was the man in the UK, and he like got on lottery, started getting paid to do athletics and stuff like that. So now he's got money coming in. So I think at that point, my mum and dad aren't supporting his lifestyle, so he's just doing what he's doing, kind of thing. So he's like, well, when he wants to go out, he can just go out because he can pay for it. Yeah. Or when I want to buy this, I can just go buy it. You get what I mean? So it's kind of like, I think it got to the point where he turned like 16, 17, 18, where he was like, well, you're actually making your own money. So
you become a self-reliant
person. Yeah. You get what I mean? But at a very young age,
yeah,
still kind of mixed in with that street kind of stuff that he was involved in. And then as I got older, it just became easier for me to get involved in it. Basically, yeah.
So he's having an impression of you. You're looking at him. You know, he looks cool. He's got a bit of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the boys. He looks fun. You know what I mean? You watch films, you hear the rap music, bit of 50 Cent back then.
All of that stuff.
What point did you start creeping into it?
So, I see, this is the thing. I used to hate when people used to say stuff like, oh, you only act like this because of your brother. So, I think like I put a chip on my own shoulder and was like, I'll show you that I'm my own man kind of thing.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to go out here and do so, it's going to be because I'm doing it, not because I'm going to run back to my brother if it all goes wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So, same kind of boat as him. You'd get into arguments. People would probably say to me, oh, you only think you're bad because of your brother. And then that would kind of spark something and I'll be thinking, all right, cool, watch. I'm going to show you that I'm bad because I'm bad.
Yeah.
And it's like you get drawn out into something that, not, because I would never class myself as a bad kid, even though things went the way it went. I wouldn't class myself as a bad kid. I weren't like in my mind, oh, I just want to be violent for the sake of being violent. But if someone egged me on, I wasn't the one to like back down. You get what I'm trying to say? I wasn't the one to go like, oh no, allow me. I'll be like, all right, cool, watch. I'll show you that I'm about this. And then punch him up. And now everyone's calling my name, and now I'm the guy. And then slowly, kind of, you feed off that energy, and you kind of
enjoy.
You pretty much, you enjoy because you like the status that comes with it. Like I said, now I'm becoming a teenager. Now girls popping up, and you get what I mean. And guys are trying to be my friend, and all of that type of stuff. And the cool kids are probably maybe from the years older, are showing me more respect. Where when I was in year 7, they tried to.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean? Like little stuff like that. And now again, you're one of the boys, and then you get your own little group of friends, and you get your own group of friends, and you just like feed off each other now. So now he does something and then you do something. Yeah. And then, it just becomes like one kind of thing and no one can really back down.
The same mindset, isn't it?
You don't want to look soft, yeah. And then it's just like in the echo chamber. Everybody's feeding everybody's like negative side to them. You get what I mean? And it just gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And then from a school perspective, then you start beefing with other schools for no reason. Because you're from Kingsbury and they're from, I don't know, you know what I mean, wherever they're from.
Just because we're in a different school.
That's it, because they wear a different tie. And then, and then you just slowly go down that road.
Yeah. Would you say for a while you was in your brother's shadow, so when anything was ever stuck on you, you've got to do above and beyond just to prove like...
Probably for a bit.
Do you know what I mean?
For a period of time, definitely. For a period of time, definitely. Especially like if you was from Erdington, then it was like, if you know my brother, if you knew me, you knew who my brother was. So then you'd kind of, I felt like you'd treat me differently because of my brother.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh nah, I'll fuck you up because I'll fuck you up kind of thing, not because of my brother. Mm-hmm. So then it was me trying to probably, get my name out there as just my own man kind of thing and be like, nah, I stand on my 10 toes myself.
Yeah.
And I don't need my brother kind of thing. And it's like a... I think all men, innit? You're trying to step out of whoever's shadow you in. You're like, I don't want to be nobody's shadow. I want to be my own person.
Especially when you're in that lifestyle, like, you know what I mean? It can be classed a bit of a weak point, like, oh, you're so-and-so's brother, and that's all you're known as.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And people can't always look at you as like, but you're only getting this because of him. You're only doing that because of him, and then nothing's accredited to you. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
And you just get stuck in the trap.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Did you have to like go a bit above and beyond?
I think so. I think it's certain cases like you had to like. Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Especially because your brother's reputation as well.
Yeah, because my brother, he had he had a good enough reputation for people to know like who he was. So yeah, I think so. Maybe above and beyond. Like you wouldn't let anything. I wouldn't let anything slide. So if it was like the smallest slight of like disrespect or like I didn't like your tone, or if somebody said something like, right, is he trying to thing it? I would make sure I shut that down like as quick as I could, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah. And
then you do end up hurting people and stuff like that. And it was like I was never the person to like take it too far. Like if someone's asleep, they're done now.
Yeah,
and that's it. I wasn't like the person, you get them kids that are like,
kicking them in the head,
yeah, stuff like that. I wasn't that far because I still had that kind of like sense from mum and dad kind of things like in me kind of thing, but it wasn't like this. How I would put it, my parents understand kids growing up, and especially like black boys growing up in the type of area. It's like you're gonna get into fights, you're gonna have to show that you're your own man, and you're gonna have to do that. So me getting into a fight wasn't like the end of the world to them because they kind of expected that. It was just like how do you deal with that kind of thing? Like if you have a fight, if the guy's down, leave it at that. If you can avoid conflicts, try and avoid conflict. I never really listened to that part, but it was like I still had some good like values instilled in me. It wasn't just purely like be violent and be as violent as you possibly could and make sure everybody's scared of it. You get what I mean?
Yeah. You wasn't an animal. It just if there's a fight, I'm game.
I was never backing down. Yeah, it was like, all right, cool, let's go.
And that's all it is. Just
a
fight,
and then we'll leave it at that kind of thing. But I wanted to make people know like you can't fuck with me kind of thing. So if I weren't leaving it at kind of maybe he wanna no. I'm making sure that everybody knows that I done this, so nobody else will fuck with me kind of thing. And that was my mentality anyway at the time.
And that followed you later on.
And then that followed me later on. So do you want to go into the?
No, we'll come to that.
Okay,
how's like so? Obviously, you were at school, just being you fucking about. How's your actual like level of education?
So I was diagnosed with dyslexia. So I was dyslexic. So I wasn't a quote unquote stupid kid. Like to me, have a conversation, articulate myself. Teacher would ask me to explain what needs to be done. I'd be fine with it. But the moment it come to reading or writing it down, that's when I kind of like I just crumbled kind of thing. So like getting asked to stand up in front of the class and read, I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. Or like trying to write something down, it just wouldn't make sense kind of thing. I wouldn't know my spelling and reading. Still now it's not the best. I worked on that when I got locked up. That was one of the things that I kind of put to my mind. I was like, you know what, you need to kind of sort this out. But at that time, it was terrible. So I feel like that kind of maybe feeds into your kind of mentality as well. Like, I'm never going to be an academic. I'm not going to go into like this is my thinking anyway. I'm never going to go into a 9 to 5 because I don't know how.
You ain't going to be an accountant.
Exactly. I'm not going to be an accountant. So which road do you go down? And then being in the life, then obviously selling drugs is always a viable option. And then also I had my athletics as well. So I really counted on that, to be honest. I was like, I see my brother get paid from doing this athletics thing. So okay, that's what I'll just do then. So I kind of pretty much gave up on education. I don't need that.
With the whole dyslexia thing and like you said, the teachers ask you to read at the front and all that. How was that for you? It was embarrassing.
Embarrassing.
Did people around you know or?
Yeah, they must have. People must have. But again, maybe because of unless you were my friend and stuff like that, or look, I'm not gonna act like everybody was scared of me because I genuinely could be a pleasant. I felt like I was a pleasant guy. I was cool to be around. But people won't pick on me for it. You get what I mean? No one was gonna pick on me for it. Maybe I might hear like a little snicker in the corner, but no one would try and make it like obvious that they know that I'm dyslexic. You know what I mean?
Different back then though, when that wasn't a thing. Like we didn't like. Do you know what I mean? You heard of dyslexia, but it was like that's it. Do you know what I mean? You just heard of it and get on with it.
You had a little bit of help, but not really. You get what I mean? Like maybe a teacher would come in and sit with me for one class, and then I wouldn't see him for the next 6 months, and then they would come and you do another test. You get what I mean? To see if your dyslexia's got worse or whatever. But other than that, it was man, it's just definitely embarrassing. 100% embarrassing.
Do you think it would have helped you if you got the help? Or do you think like you being sat there with a teacher each lesson is like
that's embarrassing
you know
itself.
What I mean?
So this is the thing that upset me one of the times. So I had a teacher, maths teacher, and she was cool with me. I would sit in a class and I was learning, and then you move up year and everything changes and stuff like that, and you end up getting a new teacher. But the class that I was in was calm. Everyone was there, wanted to work, so it gave me the feel like, I'll just work then. And she knew how to deal with me basically. If I acted up, she would be able to talk to me, and I'd be like, do you know what? I'll shut up for you. And then I got moved. I think we went up to like year 10, let's say, and we moved into another class, and it was all the delinquents, and it was all the teacher couldn't handle everything. He would shout at us, and you know what I mean, and all that type of stuff. And then my education got worse. And I used to always ask her, like, can't I just come back into your class? And she was like, I can't, like, I'm just gonna have to just stay there. So I feel like there was ways to help me, but that's just not how the system's set up. You get what I mean? Yeah. It's not set up that way. And you can't, what worked for me might have not worked for other people. So she might have not got along with other people, but she got along with me. And I don't know how you would actually work that out in the education system. It's a difficult one kind of thing, isn't it? Like,
mate, I like sometimes sit and have a little chat about the education. Like, I'm from Warsaw, bro.
Okay,
been up here a year, and like, I went to a shit old school.
Yeah.
Which is shut down now because it was that bad. But like, I remember in school, I didn't know no different. I only found out difference. Like, I'm 32 now. I found out different like 12 months ago. When I come up here. When we was in school, like, their whole target was like, we're gonna get you 5 GCSEs. You're not gonna leave with 5 GCSEs. Like, come on, you can get that 5. You can get that 5. I'm like, I can get you 5. Do you know what I mean? That was the achievement in school. Like, if you got 5, you're living. Yeah. But I come up here, and this is where my missus is from. The normality in their schools, 10 GCSEs, 11 GCSEs. She left with 12 or 13.
Okay.
And you got 5.
And that's how you realise how low the bar was set for your school kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like up here in schools, like in a nice area, like a middle class area, their schools, they're striving. Whereas like areas where we're from, when you're in school, you're surviving.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, their achievement was 5 GCSEs, which was...
And all the round applause, and everyone would get like, cheer for
it. Do you know what I mean? That was huge.
And it's sad, man. Like, I think we just kind of, and when you're a kid, you don't know any better, so you're just hearing it from everybody else. You're just thinking, okay, this is the height of achievement. And then when you realise, like, no, the ceiling is a lot higher, and they was just preparing you to, I don't know, work in an office or something like that, or you know what I mean, working, just be the average person. Yeah, man, it's sad, man, and I don't know, because for our generation, like, we didn't have YouTube or social media that would, like, you could actually see the world and be like, oh, I can do a lot more, and I can, I don't know, start my own business, start my own podcast, and really, like, build something. But back then it was like, you either had drug dealer, music, sports, or you're a guy working at Tesco's kind of thing, you get what I mean? And that was kind of that's what we saw. Yeah. So yeah, man, it's just...
Like, those years, the most important years of your life in reality, they set you up for the rest of your life.
Definitely.
And there's little funding, little help going into it. Like, if you're a lost student, for example, like you could have been at one point, just leave him to it.
Yeah, basically.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you're struggling now with dyslexia. You could have wanted to help, you could have wanted to learn. Like, I'm better than this, I can put if I get the help I need, I can get somewhere. Yeah. And it's just kind of, it's cast to a side, like...
Basically. And there was a lot of kids like that, you'd see a lot of them, that would, like... just like when the who comes, what is it, Ofsted? Like, Ofsted would come and they would, like, expel these kids just before Ofsted. You know what I mean? Just to make sure that everything looked kind of above board and stuff like that. And you would, and growing up, you'd realise about the time, you just thought our mum was messing about, they got rid of him. It was man, they didn't want to help us. No one wanted to help you. It just felt like they just wanted to manage you for the time that they've got you. Let's just manage him. And then when he's gone, he's the world's problem kind of thing. And that's not every teacher, but as a system, I think, like, that's how it kind of, it runs.
Yeah, 100% agree. Yeah. So obviously you're struggling in school, you're fighting all the time, getting your own name. Yeah. But what point did stuff start progressing? Because you never got into, like, the drug dealing stuff. That was...
Not really, like you dabble in it, but it wasn't like I'm going to be a kingpin at this type of stuff, you get what I mean? I truly believe, for me, I always had it in my head I was going to do athletics. That's what I fell back on that. That's how my mum and dad met. They was athletes. My dad is a coach, like a world class coach and stuff like that. That's why it's crazy how I went down this road. Yeah. Because my what I saw from home was never anything like this. And then my brother was a good athlete when he was a teenager. So you get what I mean? Yeah. But it was like the lifestyle kind of got hold of me more than I wanted it right now instead of waiting for me to
Yeah.
build up and be that guy. I was like, oh yeah, but I can be the guy today if I just do this and do that. I can be the guy now. So I always fell back. I was like, I'm just gonna be athletics. So yeah, I'm gonna do this stupidness just because it's fun and I'm getting attention. But I'm gonna, when I get old enough and make my name in athletics, they'll start paying me.
Yeah.
So drugs wasn't like a big thing on my mind. Again, like I said, I dabbled in it. I smoked a bit of weed. I sold a little bit of weed, but it was never like, I'm gonna be.
That was never your profession.
Yeah, it's never been a profession. I'm never gonna try and take over Birmingham and be that guy kind of thing. Yeah, you know what I mean. So it was more of the deeper I got into it and the older I got, and then I got my first charge when I was 14 or 15. So we had a little thing as kids. Kingsbury had a little thing with school in Campion. It's only down the road. We used to go down there, meet the girls. The Campion boys didn't like it. You end up getting into little beefs. So we got into a little beef there. Guy ended up getting beat up. He got stabbed. Obviously, if you know Castle Vale's cameraed up to max. So everyone got caught. and that was my first charge. Got done for violent disorder. Didn't get any time for it. Like, just had like a community order for it. And then that's when slowly you kind of like your adult brain starts kicking in, and you start like, you know what, this isn't the best route to go down, kind of thing. So like, it started kicking in then, but by then I've already got beef with that person there and that person there and that person there. And me saying, oh, guys, I'm a new man now. I don't want any problems, kind of thing. Doesn't really work. And at the same time, my pride wouldn't let me do that anyway. So my pride was just like, I know you're in this now. If people got a problem with you, you're just going to deal with it how you deal with it. And as everyone gets older, now it stops being fists, because it comes to a point where you beat up so many people, no one wants to fist fight you anymore. So now they bring out knives. And now you're like, oh, I'll be playing this game. Then, all right, cool. Then I'll start carrying a knife then, and we'll keep this kind of like a fair fight. If anyone offered me out for one-on-one, I was always game, but it wasn't that at that time. People's putting out knives, and now you've kind of like, well, what I'm going to do.
So how did you start carrying a knife?
Probably like 14, 15s. Yeah, 14, 15s, it became like a thing. Just because you hear a couple of your friends get stabbed. Like I said, my brother got stabbed a couple of times, and then you're hearing his friends get stabbed as well. So it just became like and it just became normal. It was never a thing. Maybe when the first time you saw someone with life, you're like, oh, he's carrying a knife. And then all of a sudden, all of your friends are.
Yeah.
And then you are, and then it just becomes like I don't know, putting on your shoes, you get what I mean?
Yeah. It becomes like it's a vicious circle, isn't it? Like, you have a scrap with someone, you beat them up, then their brother comes after you.
Yeah, exactly.
Then their mates come after you.
Exactly.
And he's constantly fighting, and you hit him, then now his mates coming for you, and then suddenly they're going to go, no, we need knives.
Yeah.
And then everyone's in that mindset, oh, they've got knives, they've got knives, they've got knives, now we need knives.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just a vicious circle.
And it's kind of like not to, I don't know, anyone, and the bad boys in Ernton, not to disrespect you or nothing like that, but when I was growing up, Ernton wasn't known for that, but it was more like the Handsworth and the Aston and the Newtowns. So I can imagine what happened is that they was on their badness. Handsworth, Aston used to come down to Ernton, rob a couple guys with knives, and now the Ernton guys are like, oh, okay, we need to like protect ourselves. That never really happened to us. We had our problems with them, but it was never like they came down and just violated us. It was just more of a thing that they came down and it was like standoffish and everything was a bit moody. You get what I mean? Everyone was just feeling on the edge, and they knew that they had that and we had this. And you get what I mean? It just, the environment, like thinking back to it now, it's just like, you never called it anxiety then, but that's what that's how everybody felt.
You get what I mean? To happen.
Yeah, that's how everybody felt. But yeah, man, like you said, it's just a vicious circle, and everyone kind of just feeds into the bullshit. And nobody's trying to de-escalate it. And if you're the person to be like, oh guys, let's everyone chill out, then you're looked at as a pussy.
Should we just go home?
Yeah, exactly. You can't say that. You know what I mean? You just can't. It doesn't work. You show like a little bit of weakness, now everybody jumps on you. And yeah, none of us was basically allowing that to happen.
Yeah, it's mad though, isn't it? But everyone there was probably thinking we should just go home and play FIFA.
Most people are anyway.
Yeah.
Look, you get the outliers, you get the real bad boys that are bad no matter what, and they don't care who's around. But the majority of people just want to skate by, and they just like you said, go home, play FIFA, play a bit of Call of Duty and that, and call it a day.
Yeah.
And most people step out as well of their house and go to like these house parties or thinking to get girls. That's what most people come out for. Yeah. And then someone wants to, or not somebody, I want to ruin it by getting in beef with this person. Now everybody's got to go home. Yeah, man. It's stupid. It's proper stupid.
So go to now, you're 16, 17.
16, 17. Yeah.
Left school. What's your plans?
I went to college, went to Sutton, and that's when I really got into athletics. So it was like I got a coach. I was going to Alexander Stadium. My dad hooked me up with a coach to like kind of train me, and everything was going good. Because before then, I was just going to school competitions, running down, jumping. I done long jump, running down, jumping, just winning. And I wasn't really trying. I had no technique. There was nothing really like built in. So my dad was like, "You still want to do this?" Because he was like, I'm going to let you want it. I'm not going to force you to do this. So you're going to have to come to me. And by the time you hit a certain age and you still want to do it, then I'll take you seriously. Mm-hmm. And that's what happened. So then he started taking me seriously, started having a coach. And yeah, everything was, trust me, it was going good. Still getting into little problems here and there. But it was like, I was trying to wind it down and it kind of thing. Yeah. So I wasn't going out as much. I wasn't putting myself in situations where I felt like, oh, I'm gonna have to be a horrible person today, kind of thing. We was trying to like avoid certain things, and we was having these conversations with my friends, and I was like, yo, one of these days, like something bad's gonna happen, so we just need to just chill out. Yeah. My Cody, he was smart as well, so he was going to school in he was getting like his straight A's and stuff like that. So we wasn't total lost causes at this point. Yeah. We had like a future, we had plans, we were smart enough to think like to be like future thinking. But like I said before, you've got into so much problems, you made a name for yourself, people want to check you kind of thing, and just like let's test your gangster kind of thing, and you're still about it. And still having that kind of chip on your shoulder, that bit of a pride, you just didn't let these things kind of go. And yeah, man.
So take us to the build-up of
the whole day. So it was just a normal chill day. I think college has just finished, so we've just finished. Summer holidays are coming. Everybody's obviously got hyped up for it. Me and my Cody, we're at a house party, one of his friends, and we just chilling. So me and my Cody was always together. Me, my Cody, and his cousin. We used to always be together, us three. We'd get into trouble together. If one of us done something, it's probably all of us was involved. But me and my Cody are at a house party. His cousin is at home with his girlfriend at the time, and there's another party in Erdison going on. So he's called us, so we've called him. We've got in contact with each other anyway, and been like, yo, let's all go to the house party in Erdison, but we'll go together. So we'll meet at my house, and then from there we'll go to the party. Mm-hmm. We're on the route to my house. We get a phone call saying my Cody's cousin has gone to the party with his girlfriend and got beaten up. So, and he's like how got beaten up? He's like, got beaten up, got stabbed in his head, he's bleeding everywhere, he's on the way to hospital, blah, blah, blah. So obviously we've heard this, and being the kids who we was, is kind of, we're not, obviously everyone's upset, we're angry, we're like, nah, this can't happen. Everybody knows that that's our boy. So if they're violating him, they're violating us, kind of thing.
You wanted revenge?
Pretty much.
Did you want to drink or anything? Basic.
Yes, but it wasn't, like, again, I wasn't never a heavy drinker. I used to smoke a little bit. Yeah. But at this time, I was doing my athletics, so it wasn't like I wasn't bang at it kind of thing. Yeah. I was still kind of like on that slightly clean living. Yeah. And I'll be honest, I was probably like a little bit waved, but as soon as we heard that news, sobered straight up. You know, when you get that adrenaline kind of kicks in, it kind of sobers you up. That's basically what happened. So I'm not even going to try and blame it on alcohol or smoking or anything like that. So we've heard this, kind of got an idea of who it is, but don't know the reason why it's happened. We just assume they attacked him for no reason.
So have you got confirmation of who it is, or just names chucked at you?
I'd names chucked at us. So there was one name that that I knew, and then everybody else I didn't know, but there was one name that I knew.
Yeah.
And so we just hung on that then. Where am I going with this? So yeah, so we got back to my house. Stupid kids, you carry stuff. Not everybody's carrying stuff, but we're carrying things. And it's like, when I used to talk about this with my mum, it's weird. It's like, I don't want to say fate because because obviously something upsetting happened and obviously someone lost their life. But it was literally got to my house, got to the bottom of my road, and they just happened to drive past. So it wasn't like we knew exactly where they were or they knew where we were or something like that. It just got to the bottom of the road, they drove past. And they were driving slow. We later found out they was driving slow because they was looking for more people at the party. So I think they beat him up at the party.
Yeah.
Everybody scattered. And now they're just on like a
rampage.
rampage. Like, yo, we're just getting these kids now. We're on some badness today. So they drove past, slowed down, looked, recognised them. And I was like, oh, that's them there. But they've carried on driving. They've drove off. We've walked the direction of the car. But in my mind, the car's driven off. What we're going to do, they've parked up and they've got out because they was planning to like an ambush thing.
Okay.
So I don't think they've recognised who I am or anything like that. So they've jumped out the car. We've met face to face. Now there's a big argument going on. Why have you attacked him? Why have you done this? Blah, blah, blah. Can't really remember what was said, but it's like, fuck you and you're a dickhead and all that kind of stupidness. And then, what's it called? And then...
did they admit to attacking him or just...
It was more of a like... So, one of them, the one that I knew there, like I said, brother had a name for himself. So they knew my brother. So he was just like, all right, cool. He never said what they'd done, but it was like, let's just talk to your brother kind of thing. I'll talk to your brother, me and your brother, we'll sort it out between me and your brother. And obviously me, fuck my brother.
Yeah, deal with me.
We'll deal with it, yeah. We'll deal with it kind of thing. So we just arguing back and forth. And then melee happens. Like, when people, like, everything kind of started getting active now. And the one that I know, he gets stabbed in his back. But everyone runs off. So he gets stabbed in the back, everybody runs off. Guys jumped in his car, people jump over the fence, we run the opposite way. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, the drama's happened and kind of the day's done. We're walking, so they've run off that way, we've run that way. And on this side, my road's here. So like we've walked back round, they've come up that way, we're walking this way. We've got to like my house, we're like, where are we gonna go from here? It was like, all right, cool, we'll go to his mum's. Because it's late at night at this time, it's like, I don't know, like 12 o'clock or something like that at night. So we're just like, his mum doesn't live too far away from my house, the one who's been attacked. Mm-hmm. So my Cody is like, let's just go to his mum's house, see if she knows what's happened.
Cody's cousin's mum.
Yeah. The Cody's cousin's mum. So he's auntie basically. Let's go to my auntie's house and we'll, and we'll see what's going there. So as they've gone that way, we've walked back that way, we've bumped into each other again. You see what I mean? It's not like, it's not planned. None of this was like, oh, we know that it's not like we knew where he lived and we're going to go to his house and we're going to go do this. It was just generally, we're just out here and we've just bumped into these people twice.
Yeah.
At this time, I'm on the phone, so somebody's rang me, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. Somebody else that knows my brother. So he's rang my number, saying, calm down, we've heard what's happened, just chill out, da-da-da-da-da. I've got some respect for him, so I'm like, look, I know what you're trying to say, but fuck all that kind of shit. It is what it is. When we see him again, blah, 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 da-da-da-da, not thinking that we're going to see him like a second later.
You're all rearing yourself up on the phone.
Kind of thing, so like we're all like, we just, you know what I mean? Like, we're just in the moment kind of thing, and everyone's upset, emotions are high. Anyway, I see somebody run past me, I look up, I see two people across the road. By the time I've really realised what's going on, say I'm like, I've just stepped off the curb to kind of go towards it. My Cody's running out of, they've ran down the alleyway, so my Cody's running out of the alleyway, saying, come, run. So we've run back up to by my house. By the time we got to my house, I'm kind of like what happened kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I went down there. I stabbed him. He didn't even really go into details, he just goes, I stabbed him. I was like, where? He's like, I stabbed him in his stomach. Again, being young and hearing a bunch of people being stabbed a bunch of times, you kind of like minimize that. Your stomach, it'll be all right.
Yeah.
So we just chilling, rest of the night, hearing helicopters going by.
We'll pause it.
Yeah.
So have 2 people been stabbed now?
2 people
at this
been
point.
stabbed,
Okay,
yeah.
one stabbed in the back.
One stabbed in the back.
Yeah.
And at that time, one stabbed in the stomach that I thought.
So your co-D went into this alleyway with these lads.
Yeah.
He's run out, leg it.
Yeah.
I've just stabbed him in the stomach.
Yeah, stabbed him.
Okay, let's go from there.
So, made it back to my house now, because now it's like, okay, too much has happened. Got back to my house, and we're just like, we're not taking it as serious as maybe we're looking back as we should, because at this time, once you've done a lot of like violent things, like I said, things just get normalised. You're just used to these things happening and getting into drama. We're hearing the helicopters flying around, and we're not thinking everything of it. We're just like, oh, yeah, someone's probably called it in and he's gone to hospital and they're just looking for people. It's fine. Some girls come to my house that was at the party, like, oh, what's happened? And that was like, oh, no, nothing, don't worry about it, blah, blah, blah. They've left the house and she had to walk down where the guy got stabbed. Like, she had to walk that route anyway, and she's seen it all taped off. She's rang me saying, oh, you know, like down that road, it's all taped off and stuff like that. Again, being a stupid kid. Oh, no, they're probably just trying to collect evidence, not really thinking of anything. There's like a tent there and stuff like that, but it's not clicking in. Go to sleep anyway. Phone's belling off. I look at it, it's my brother, hang up. Look again, it's my brother, hang up. And I finally answer it. I'm like, what's going on, man? I'm sleeping. And he was like, do you know what happened last night? That guy last night? I was like, yeah. He's like, he's died. I was like, nah. He's like, yeah, he died. Woke up my colleague stopped at my house, woke him up, told him what's kind of happened. He's done whatever he's had to do, ring whoever he's had to ring, and then he's just left. Brothers come to get me. I'm just there talking with him over it, kind of thing, like what happened the night and all that type of stuff, and what I got told. It was like, you got stabbed in the States? It can't be. I think it's just people just, like, you know, where rumours go around, just exaggerating, like, yeah, it's stabbed and all that type of stuff, and it would be fine. And then my brother's done whatever investigating he's had to do, and he's like, nah, Dec, like, yeah, he's dead. And I'm just thinking, rah. But at this time, I know I didn't touch the guy the whole time. Like, I never really had an interaction with him. It probably sounds bad to say, but I couldn't even tell you what he really looked like at the time. You get what I mean? Because I didn't really have a decent kind of like look at him.
And you had no reason to, like, you never knew he was going to end up dead, so you don't clock details.
I never knew him before this happened, and you get what I mean. So it was just like I never really knew him at all. And then so we're just hearing about all this type of stuff. What's gonna happen? Blah blah blah. Me and my Cody haven't really had any contact with each other at this time.
He vanished, just gone on the run.
I don't even know. I don't know if he's gone on the run. He just vanished. He's just left.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything from him. And probably he's not my focus at that time. To be honest, I'm not thinking, oh, I wonder what he's up to. You get what I mean? I'm just living what I'm living and trying to sort out what I can sort out. So my brother's got me trying to sort stuff out, trying to just figure out what's actually going to happen, what's going to happen. I've basically told him what's happened that night. I was like, I didn't touch him, and at this time, I didn't know such thing as joint enterprise. So in my mind, I thought I've done nothing wrong. Then I'm not trying to like push it onto my Cody and be like, well, but it's his fault. It's just like, well, I haven't done anything wrong. I haven't touched the guy.
You're speaking facts.
I'm just speaking facts. Yeah, I'm just speaking facts. And in my mind, I'm kind of being like, all right, I'm gonna get in trouble. I know that. I know I've been involved with something like that. But I'm never gonna think that they're gonna say that I'm a murderer or I've murdered someone. You get what I mean? I never thought I was gonna get labelled with that. Police caught up with me in the end. I've got arrested.
How long?
That same day. So when I woke up and found out he had died later on that day. So say a couple of hours later, they come and got me. The reasoning behind that is because, well, what I think anyway, is that my Cody never lived in Erdington. He used to come there, obviously chill there, but he never lived in Erdington. So my name was a bit more known around there. And if you was a kid then and you found out my Cody's cousin, like our friend, got attacked, and then the guy that attacked him or part of that group, he ended up passing away, you can't just put two and two together and go, well, it must have been them, that kind of thing. So I feel like my name was just ringing bells. The police are doing whatever they have to do.
Because of your reputation.
And because of my reputation, it's like, well, it must have been him. Because I heard that he'd done this to so-and-so 4 months ago. You know what I mean? So my reputation caught up with me. The police got me. obviously through no question and stuff like that. And I'm just saying it's not me. Being stupid and young and thinking I'm smart, I make up some elaborate story. And at this time, I feel like they're either going to let me go or they're going to blame me for it. And I'm kind of going to have to take the charge. At this point, I didn't know that my Cody had heard. I don't know if he spoke to my brother or spoke to somebody else. I think he spoke to my brother. And he's like, they've got deck. And like, obviously, you know, we all know the score, and he's not going to go around and tell him where you live or anything like that. But he's heard that and gone, look, I'm not going to let Deck take the charge, because he, obviously, in his mind, he knows that he done whatever he done. So he handed himself in. I didn't know this though at the time.
Knowing that, does that surprise you?
No, not really, because
knowing what he's owning up to.
It didn't surprise me because let me think before I speak. So it's not something that I would expect him to do, but the character of him, it's like, yeah, he would do something like that.
He's looking out for his boy.
Exactly. Yeah. He's that type of person.
But if that was me, if I knew I did it and you did fuck all, I'd be like, he's going to be alright, he's done fuck all. I am going to fucking vanish.
Yeah, and it's true, and people can go down that road and stuff like that, and I do get it. But I'm guessing in his mind, it was just like, Deck didn't do it. He didn't mean to. In his mind, he's like, I didn't mean to kill anybody. So I don't know. He could have thought, but I'll get a manslaughter because I didn't mean to do it. And blah, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't know what thought process he went through, but all I know is that in his mind, he was like, I'm not gonna let Deck take the rap for me, kind of thing. And obviously, I got love for him forever, and like, I don't know how to repay that kind of thing. You get what I mean? Because he could have, like you said, he could have just vanished, could have just disappeared, and you know what I mean. And then it was just left on me. So he's handed himself in. They haven't told me this now, so I've been in there. So this happened on, I think I got locked up on a Friday, so I've been in there over the weekend, and then so I've been in there for a while now, and they haven't told me until like one of the last interviews they done, and they told me like, okay, well, your co-defendant's handed himself in. So what have you got to say to that kind of thing? I was going no comment for a while, and then my solicitor, there we go, that's the word. My solicitor has come, and they'll be like, I was just like to him, he was like, they're telling the truth, they can't lie to you. So he has handed himself in, he has owned up to being the one to doing the fatal blow. So basically, just agree with what your Cody's saying, and you'll be alright. Because the thing is, why I always say you'll be alright, because that's what stuck with me. What that he said, and you'll be alright, that stuck with me. So I left it for a bit, got thingy. I was thinking about it, I was like, are you sure? And he was like, yeah, if he's handed himself in, he said that the police can't lie to you, they can't make something up. So I was like, alright, cool. Then I was like, yeah, he stabbed him. And then what they said is, for you to know that he had stabbed him, you must have been there and seen it, joint enterprise. And that's kind of that's how they got me. And I was sitting there thinking, nah, like, I felt like I kind of been finessed basically, like coerced into the thingy, because I should have just shut my mouth and just not said anything, innit? Looking, obviously being young and stupid, and you just kind of like, I don't know, you wanted the kind of whole thing to be over, and this was, in my mind, he was giving me the out. Like, my Cody's handing himself in, so I'm just like, oh, okay, then I'm not doing anything. I'm not here sitting up here snitching, because he's saying that he's done it. He's already taken the blame, kind of thing. He's taking responsibility. But yeah, that they got me on the joint enterprise, basically that way. Yeah.
So we'll rewind it back.
Yeah.
The first guy got stabbed in the back.
Yeah.
You know, legged it back towards yours.
Yeah.
Like, now a normal person.
Yeah.
Not saying you ain't normal. But you know what I mean? Someone who ain't about that life.
Yeah.
Would have said, fuck me, that's heavy enough for me for one night. I'm going to bed.
100%.
Why didn't you?
Was
that just not heavy to you, that stuff?
It wasn't. Not really. That's the thing. Not really. It became, like I said, it became a normal thing. You've seen it a lot of times. It's happened around you a lot, and it's happened to like friends, and they've kind of just shrug it off, gone to hospital, and then come back out. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So it just becomes like I don't want to say everyday thing, but like every month something like this is happening kind of thing. And then like I said, it happened to my brother a couple of times, and I remember the first time it happened to him, he was kind of showing, he was kind of like, yo, look, he got stabbed in his back, he was like, yo, look, blah, blah, blah. And he had some girl kind of like treating it, and you know what I mean? Like it was just made like a normal kind of...
When you see it so much, it gets dehumanised.
Exactly.
It's like people who have to slaughter animals for a living.
Exactly.
It gets normal.
Yeah, normal.
Do you know what I mean? People who have to deal with dead bodies, it gets normal. Do you know what I mean? For the average Joe, it's going to be fucking horrible the first time.
Exactly.
But to see it 20 times...
It's just like, this the stuff that just happens.
Just a day in the life.
Yeah, this just happens. And I'm not saying it wasn't like heavy enough or anything like that, but it was like it was just like, oh, what are we going to do next? Are we going to do this? And I was never... And at that moment as well, if my Cody said he was doing anything, I wasn't just going to let him go out there by himself. It's already been a drama. Mm-hmm. The last thing I want is to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to bed, and then wake up in the morning and then find out something happened to him. So it was just like, oh, we're just going to stick together for the rest of the night now. We're just going to be rolling together. So looking back, of course, man, you just like...
Hindsight, isn't it?
Hindsight's the...
It's a motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But man.
You've now been, obviously, joint enterprise.
That got me.
What were you thinking at this point?
I still had kind of hope that like trials gonna come and it's gonna unfold that I never done it, and the jury would be able to see that I had never delivered the blow. And
I presume you was remanded in custody.
Yeah, I was remanded. Yeah.
And obviously, solicitor would have come and seen you brief.
Yeah.
Did at any point they say to you like you could be looking at 15 years?
Yeah, that's what they said. That was one of the kind of first things. But they try and stay hopeful, kind of thing. And what they come to me, because again I didn't understand. So when they took me, like when I saw my solicitor again, I was like, wait, how this doesn't make any sense though. Like, how am I getting convicted with charged with murder? And it was, then they told me about the joint enterprise thing, and that's what shocked me. I was like, I didn't even know this was a thing. I didn't even know this existed. Yeah. It was either like, yeah, I was like, but again, I was like, I didn't touch him. Like, I didn't even see it happen. And it was like, yeah, but you know what I mean, you was there and blah 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 and all that type of stuff. And so that was news to me. And but because I was so like sure of myself, I didn't do anything, and I knew I didn't do anything, I kind of lived on that hope, and that everyone will be out when it comes out, the jury will see like, oh yeah, but he didn't touch the guy, he didn't see it happen, so what are we kind of charging him for?
Do you agree with it, the joint enterprise?
Not how it's been used. It's to say the law's changed, but not really, no. Because I will complain about my case, but I've heard a lot of people that had done a lot less.
Of course,
done a lot less and got done for the same thing.
For you, getting done for murder as well, I'd say that's too far.
I should have been done for something, 100%.
100% done for something, but you getting the blame for somebody else's actions, getting equal sentence, equal responsibility for someone else's actions, is, in my opinion, is too far. It's too far. But then I think they look at it as, if he wasn't there, he probably wouldn't have done it.
It's a situation that I can agree with that. This is where my mindset goes, because I know I think the basis of like, you've got to either encouraged, helped, or there's a couple of things that you have to hit, and I don't feel like I hit them. So one was like encouraged, and I remember this on trial. They was asking, because people turn up to court, people like snitched and stuff like that. Not to say that they've done anything crazy wrong, but that's just the word that I'll use. Yeah. So they come to court and they snitched, and they asked them, "Oh, did you hear Mr. Moore shout any encouragement and blah blah blah?" They said no. So that in my mind, I was like, all right, cool. You didn't verbally hear me like, get him, attack him or anything like that. You didn't hear that. Did I hold the guy down? No, I didn't touch him at all. So I wasn't even there to see. And did you see it happen? No, I didn't see it happen. I didn't have a weapon. So in my mind, I'm like, so what am I getting done for at this point? If I had chased him and I was like holding on to him, are you involved? If you had took the weapon out and handed it to the person, you're involved. Yeah. You get what I mean? Mm-hmm. Even the shouting encouragement one, I don't even think you, because there's so many drunk girls that I say fuck him up, Gary, and da 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 da. And then when he does, is she then
trying
the prize? Exactly.
That's your fault.
Yeah, exactly. She's not in it. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
People are just in the moment and they're just speaking stuff. And I don't like the fact. I'm a real like believer of like be responsible for your own actions. So if I do something, it's because I done it.
Yeah.
And no matter what somebody says to me, shouldn't implicate them as well, because at the end of the day, I'm my own person. I have my own kind of. I have to take my own responsibility on my actions that I do. So yeah,
it's hard. There's good and bad to it. I can see both sides of it.
I can see it. I'm not so blind to it that I can't see where it comes from. But at the same time, everybody is responsible for their own actions. Once you're a certain age, you're responsible for yourself. And yeah, man, you have to just take it on your chin, like my Cody wanted to do as well. He wanted to take it on his chin. He wasn't trying to say, "Oh no, but they was there, so they should be." He was like, "Nah,
it's all me.
It's all me." So you get what I mean?
Yeah.
And for once he's took responsibility for it, then I don't know then how you can be like, yeah, even though he's taking responsibility for it, we're still going to give you responsibility for it as well.
Equal amount of responsibility
as well. You know what I mean? It's a difficult one.
Yeah.
But I understand why it exists. I just think it was too broadly used.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I agree, you should have got something.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? Like if you says, "Nah, listen, let's just go back to mine. Let's stay in."
I could have just stayed in.
You could have stayed in, and if you'd have done that, and if he'd have carried on that way, what's the chances he'd have been on his own versus two? He'd have gone, "Yeah, fuck that." Do you know what I mean?
No, I get it.
Yeah.
But and again, what's the chances of him? Because I've heard crazy scenarios where like I was away with a guy. Argument happens in a park. Group of lads chase the guy in the park. Chase him out of the park. He stays in the park. He gets done for joint enterprise. So it's like, okay, but I said, then how do you justify that then? I've stayed where all the dramas happened and they've run off and they've caught up with the guy and got him. So I didn't change. He didn't change anything.
Yeah.
So stuff like that. That when I hear them stories, that's when I'm like, yeah, I feel like it was a numbers game, and as a prosecution, it's as like any job, you want to win, and you want to win, and how can a win is getting as much people done for one charge as I possibly can, and that's why I feel like joint enterprise was used. It wasn't used for the justice of for people. It was just like, how can we bird off much people? And then my CV, it says I got 20 convictions in one go, and you know what I mean. So that's what I think it was more used for.
Now this question.
Yeah.
How was it for you at the time, knowing a kid's dead? A young kid.
Yeah. He was older than us, but he was still young.
He's still young.
He was still young.
21 was he?
21, yeah.
Young 21. Kid.
Yeah, definitely.
How was that knowing someone's died? Like, obviously you didn't know him, you didn't do it, so you could just be like... And that's okay, do you know what I mean? You're going to sound like I couldn't say that.
So people might take this the wrong way, and I don't mean it in the most... I'm not trying to be horrible or anything like this. This is how I look at it when it comes to street life, because I would have looked at it that for myself. That's the only reason why I say this, because I'm not going to act like I won every beef I ever got into. You get what I mean? But it's how I used to always look at it. I decided on this non-verbal contract is that we're both game when it comes to this street life stuff. So if we do something happens to me, I decided to act like a bad boy, and you won this time, or you got me this time, and vice versa. Now, no one ever goes out there thinking that someone's or wanting to, or we didn't anyway. Like, I'm not going to talk for everyone. We never went out there thinking, oh, somebody's going to lose their life, or we wanted that to happen. No, that was never the plan. There was no discussion of what was going to happen. But I know that was never the plan. It was just like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, you minimize stuff in your head. When people get stabbed and they all right. Obviously, as a grown-ass man now, we all know that anything can happen. But at the time, as a kid, you kind of just minimize everything. I see it as, if you live in the street life stuff happens to you, and it is sad, and it's like, it's devastating for people's families and stuff like that. And I fully understand that, and it's devastating for his friends. But at the time, it was like, oh man, yeah, someone's died. I'm obviously conscious of myself and being like a bit selfish and thinking, I hope nothing happens to him. So it happens to me. But But at the same time, it's sad that somebody's passed. But it's like we've got this non-verbal contract as like, this is kind of what happens when you get involved in the street stuff kind of thing, yeah. And it might sound cold or like I don't give a fuck about like saying it that way, but I don't want people to think that's how I'm saying it, because I'm not saying it that way.
No.
I'm just saying that these are things that happen when you live a certain life. I've seen it. I've got friends where he went to rob somebody, just a normal bystander, and he stabbed him. He ended up dying and stuff like that. That ruined him. He went psychosis and all that type of stuff. So I think that's what it does to you. And people look at him as like a piece of shit. And I looked at him thinking, bro, like, why? You never had to do any of that. It was never that type of situation. But I feel like when it comes to like, he was involved in street stuff and you was involved in street stuff, it's kind of looked at a little bit different.
Yeah.
But 100% to his family, they don't give a fuck. Yeah. And they shouldn't give a fuck. They should look at what happened that night, that day, as us being pieces of shit. You killed my son or my friend or my you know what I mean? And they should look at it that way. I'm not trying, that's nothing to say to them how they should look at us, but I feel like on a big scope of things, I think that's how it should be looked at.
Of course, obviously the victims, family, friends, associates, they're going to go, you lot are pieces of shit, you 100%. Lot are animals who don't deserve to see the light of day again.
And I get it.
But, you know, if I join the infantry in the army and I'll go to war and I'll get killed, that happens. And
it happens,
you're running around the streets, attacking people with weapons, without weapons, and the same happens to you. It's
the risk that we all it's the risk that we all kind of get into.
Yeah.
So, and that's again being a big believer in personal responsibility. That's why it still comes down to is like you whatever decisions you make to do, whatever road it leads down, you know that you got yourself there, if you get what I mean. Again, it's different for if you're an innocent person just walking down the road and someone decides to attack you. That's not your fault.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're involved in life, and horrible things happen, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So, sentencing.
Yeah.
So.
Or trial or sentencing?
No, so we'll go, obviously you got trial, you get the verdict.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
I still had hope. I'm not gonna lie. I had like just before the verdict, I still had hope of thinking, I might just get done for violent disorder or whatever the thing. Because let me go back a little bit. There was 3 of us there that night, but 2 of us got done for the murder, and one of us just got done for violent disorder. And that was the other thing that I used to stand on, or I still stand on. Kind of feel like, I don't want to say hard done by, but hard done by me getting done for murder as well, because it's like, well, if all 3 of us was there, and me and my other Cody that didn't get done for murder, we was at every situation together. So then what made me a murderer and what didn't make him a murderer? And that's what I could never get my head around, and still to this day I can't get my head around it. So that's where I felt hard done by, and that's where I saw maybe the hope, because I was thinking, if he never got done for it, then I'm innocent as well, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But never worked out that way. So yeah, I get birded, and I'm like, I think you're just in like kind of like a state of shock kind of thing. Like, it doesn't sink in straight away. So it was just like, nah, I'm gonna appeal this, and they're gonna realise that it was wrong, kind of thing. I did appeal it. They didn't give a fuck what I had to say, and then it was like, all right, cool. Sentencing's come, and before this, I got told I was gonna get about 15 years. So when it was like, you don't get about 15 years.
How's that for you? You're fucking sat there as a 17, 18-year-old,
and
they're like, you're gonna do 15 years inside. Like, that's you've barely been alive that long.
Exactly. Yeah. In my mind, I was just like, nah, it can't be. It doesn't sink in, because you can't think that far, especially at that age. You can't imagine that far in the future, kind of things. So you're just like, nah, that's not real. I'm not gonna end up doing that. You're kind of hoping that something's gonna happen. And again, because of my thing was joint enterprise, I held on to, I think, that little bit of hope. Always, I was just thinking something could happen or something could change, and maybe this happens. You know what I mean? You got your mind does whatever it does to survive in it, and I think that's what I was doing. And then sentences come, and then you get 12 years. And then I'm like, okay, I've almost done about a year now on remand. So I've got like, it's 11 something. And you start doing the maths, and you start thinking, okay, I'll be out when I'll be like 29. and you're like, okay, I guess that's not too bad, kind of thing. And that's the yeah, man, that's the game you try and play, and you try and make it as easy as it can be for you, I think. Or some come to it like people do, and they're like, no, I can't do this, and they end up losing their mind in jail, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
so they said to you, life minimum
12 years, yeah.
Take him down.
Yeah.
Like, how's that walking down?
Ah, it's horrible. Steps? It's horrible. Do you know it's horrible? Because so you've kind of got used to the staff there that take it down. They've got used to you. Again, I was never an act up kid, so I'd go now. I was quiet. They would give me whatever food I think. I'd take the food. I was polite. I'd say please and thank you and da 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 da. So I think they got used to me like, oh, this kid's cool. So when they've heard of how long I've got, they've come back like I can see it in their face that they're feeling sorry for me, kind of thing, and everyone's
young kid as well.
Yeah, young kid as well, and stuff like that, and they know that I'm at this joint enterprise as well, and so they're like, oh, like, are you all right and stuff like that, and I'm feeding off their negative energy, so now I'm kind of feeling a little bit sorry for myself and stuff like that, and it's heavy, man. Like, don't get me wrong, but like, it's not. I didn't cry about it or anything like that, but it was heavy, and when I got the verdict of like, what's called like, yeah, you're getting guilty for the conviction of murder. I remember looking at my mum because I could just see her in the stands, and she looks at me, are you alright? Like, she mouths obviously, you're alright. I like nod finger, I say it back, she nods back, and that's kind of it, innit? And you gotta try and stay strict because I think like I realised at that moment as well, it's like it's bigger than me, so. My parents are obviously going to feel it, and if I break down here and and start breaking down and stuff like that, they're going to feel affected. So you just got to put on a brave face for everybody else, and kind of thing. That's what I felt like. I got to put on a brave face, and I got to get through it, looking as solid as possible, because I don't want them to like feel that. You get what I mean?
You're gonna break.
That I'm gonna break. That I'm always breaking.
And you're gonna cause them worry.
Exactly. Oh, he's looking skinny today. Or he's got a black eye. What happened to him? Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd never want that. So I had to just like kind of like just you gotta just G up on it and just be like, all right, cool. I'm in this now. Let's fucking go on it. Let's see what comes of it.
So you went prison.
Yeah.
What's your first night? That's cell door slams.
First door slams. Yeah.
First night in prison after your sentencing.
Do you know what's the thing? Because we got remanded. Weirdly, they put me and Macaulay. Luckily for me, because I feel like it helped me that we put me and Macaulay together. Mm-hmm. So with me and Macaulay, because I was with him, at least I knew somebody. I knew he was as game as I was. So if anything kind of happened, I knew it was good. And we went to Hindley. It's in Wigan, and it's a juvies at the time, and we probably had the biggest sentence or the biggest crime, one of the biggest crimes there anyway. So people's left us alone. Yeah. So it kind of gave us the easiest route. I was there with someone, both of us again. We're from Birmingham and they're from Wigan, and nothing stuff like really happens. Yeah. So people kind of was weary of us, and that probably helped because it was like no one fucked with us, no one tried to, I don't know, steal my shoes or take my take my lunch from me or something like that. But when it got really real was when they split us up. We got into a little drama whilst it was just before sentencing, and it was like, we can't keep you that together. Split us up, and then they sent me to Aylesbury. And at that time, Aylesbury was like the worst, like YOIs at the time. Luckily for me, I didn't really know anybody that'd been to jail before this. So when they said they were sending me there, I was like, whatever, because I didn't have that kind of reputation thing in my head. But then when I got there and everyone told me about it, I was like, yeah, it makes sense. So that first night, that was my first proper night. I would say that I was like, okay, you're in this by yourself. And that was like, yeah, man, it's heavy. And you got to put on you have to put on a front of, you're like, okay, this is my bad boy self. I can't be nice Declan that everybody kind of gets along with and I'm saying my please and thank yous. And I've got to kind of turn up and be somebody kind of thing. And that's what it was. But that place, it was horrible, man. It was a horrible jail. Like the first night, getting used to it.
But like, you've been sentenced 12 years.
Yeah.
Like, you're sat in your pad at night, on your fucking beds, your blue mattress, and it's like, for the foreseeable, as far as I can see ahead,
I'm here.
This is me.
I'm here.
Like, I'd have so many worries. Like, I'm going to be forgotten about. The world's going to move on.
Yeah, they do you know what it is? Them things do set in. It does set in. My family was really supportive, and I had a couple of close friends that has always been supportive. But people definitely forget, yeah. Like I said, I was the guy. I felt like I was the guy, one of the boys when I was out, and then girls just start writing you. They start answering their phone. You know what I mean? They start trying to like see if you're all right. Start coming on visits, and that's what wears down on you. And then you do feel like everyone's forgetting me still. Like no one cares. Everybody's living their life. You kind of, the friends that do come, you're hearing stories about what's happening out there, and everyone's partying and doing this, and like you're just thinking, oh, I'm just missing out. People are forgetting about me, and you've got to. I don't know. I think what helped me is because I had a decent head on my shoulders, and I had my mum told me, you gotta make a plan. You gotta do something. You gotta keep yourself kind of busy doing things. So then that's when, like I said, I started doing my education again. I got into that to like give myself something to look forward to, or feel like I was achieving something. I'm not just sitting here writing.
Yeah.
But every day is not like that. Most days, a lot of the days are, man, you're just wallowing in kind of like
routine.
Yeah, it's the same thing every day. It's boring. Nothing's going on for you, and like the most exciting things that happen are violence. You know what I mean? And that's the crazy thing. And you just hope, you're hoping that it doesn't come to your doorstep, doesn't happen to you. No one tries to mess with you too much. And I've told everybody this. I think with my sentence, I got lucky, man. I skated through, man. I genuinely skated through. Get into little dramas, but I skated through majority of it.
You find in prisons a lot of lads live their lives alone.
Yeah.
It's not a badge of honour, but it's respect. Like, leave him
alone.
Yeah, like he's got a life sentence. Leave the fucker alone.
If he's not bothering you, leave him alone. Yeah. But saying that, Owlsby didn't care. I think this is what helped me. I go to the gym. I'm strong for my age. I'm bigger than most people. I'm athletic. So I feel like a lot of people, and I wasn't trying to bother anyone. I wasn't trying to be the big boy in the wing that was like, yo, I run this, and I didn't care about any of that type of stuff. So I think people left me alone because of that. It was like, if we want to bully him anyway, if we thought about he's got something that good, it's going to be a long day anyway, because we're going to have to go into a cell, and then we're going to have to try and get off him. And if he fights back, you know what I mean? It was like, there was easier people to get than him. And then, because I've got the lifer kind of thing, he's already proven that he's willing to go that distance. So I feel like I was just like, leave him alone. He's not bothering anyone. Yeah. And then I got along with the boys anyway. Like obviously, then you get in there and you start meeting other lifers and stuff like that. You start have something to get along, and you kind of create your own like little kind of firm in there. Yeah. That everybody just knows. Just leave them alone. The lifers, and if one of them gets attacked, then if they all get involved in, I'm in here for drugs, and they're willing to take it. That extra
life is tend to be serious
extra
people.
Pace. They stay out of trouble, but when trouble comes, then it's like, all right, cool, let's go for it. Then there's somebody's on their way to hospital.
Yeah. Obviously, I don't want to talk about prison too much.
Yeah.
Obviously, you went in there better yourself. And you see every now and then, in shit newspapers like the Sun, they'll say prisoners can choose what they want for lunch.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they realise.
The choice for
like, you go workshops 7:30 till 11:30 for £1.39. Then you come back, and then your lunch will be a sausage roll and a packet of crisps.
Yeah, and that's you done.
Then you're banged up till 1:30.
Go back.
Get back there in workshops for another £1.39 till 4:30, and then obviously servery.
You might get a left leg.
Yeah, very pale, very wet chicken leg, and some very pale chips,
and then that's you.
And 2 stale pieces of bread. And do you know what I mean? Like, that's okay. You're in prison. Yeah. You're not an animal, but they are feeding you. Yeah. But prison's nothing like.
It's not nice. It's not nice. People try and make it out that you're living the life, and people might see these videos of people making stuff in their kettle and stuff like that. Like, you can. You try and make it as good as possible for yourself, but it's not good. It's never like, this is what I'll choose to do on any given day, innit? But they try and make it out that way, innit?
You gotta think like, you're banged up for 13 years, and at some point, and you could have chosen to do it your whole sentence, for £2.80 a day, you're in some workshops putting radiator parts together some shit like that, eating a sausage roll for dinner, and then for tea you're having like chicken or a bit of fish with chips or pasta. Yeah. It's all shit, just carbs.
Yeah, it's carb. Yeah, that's what it is. You get potatoes with potatoes.
Yeah, you're banged up at 7 o'clock for 12 hours.
Yeah, and then back to it the next day.
You're doing all again for your £2.80.
It's the same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing.
And obviously, if you have committed crime,
cool.
That is the punishment.
I'm suffering it. It's fine.
Yeah, but prison isn't as cushy as the papers make out. I think that's good to put out there.
No, it's not.
It is a punishment.
It's a punishment. Not all, and not everybody. And it's a bigger punishment for some people. Like, you can go in there for what they'll call a petty crime here. Okay, it happened to a kid. He went in there. I think he might have been there for drugs. Nothing crazy serious. In there for drugs. Somebody lied on him and said that he was racist to the brothers in there, to the Muslims in there. Mm-hmm. Bang, get slashed. He wasn't. What the guy wanted to do is rob his trainers. So when they've all ran in there to beat him up, that guy's robbed his trainers, but he got slashed. That thing's gone round saying that he's robbed, that he was racist. So he's moved off that wing, moved to another wing. They've heard about it on there, slashed him again. So this guy's gone in jail for drugs to do a little 4-2 or something like that. And now he's been stabbed in his face twice. And he's going to have to live with that scar on it. You get what I'm trying to say?
And now he's wearing prison pumps.
Now he's wearing prison pumps. And now he's been victimised. And again, he's committed a crime. But you don't see what happens to most people is stuff like that.
Prisons you know what I mean? Are its own world. It's its own politics. It's its own economy. Do you know what I mean? Back in the day when it was burned, they changed to vapes.
Yeah, vapes,
it's got its own economy. And obviously the Muslims...
Most jails.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? White lads are going there. It's like, I'm from Liverpool, I'm from Manchester, I'm from Birmingham. Go fuck yourself. Yeah. Whereas the Muslim, I'm Muslim.
And then they think
I'm Muslim. And
a lot of people convert whilst I was in there for that protection kind of thing, and they're not really on it. Because I'm Muslim myself, but I've done it the different way. Cause I never wanted to be labelled as the guy to do what, because you was in jail, that's why you done it. So I waited until I got out. Because I always in my mind I was like, you're never gonna label me. Again, still had that little bit of pride thing. Yeah, you're never gonna label me. You reverted because you wanted to be looked after and be protected. Yeah, man. But it's not a nice place. Trust me, it's not a nice place. People make it look fun, and it's the very minute people that have phones that end up smashing a gov and stuff. Yeah, I mean, like there's a very small number of people. Majority of people are barely getting through. You know what I mean? Yeah. Barely getting through. Yeah. So it's not a nice place. Don't go there, kids.
Yeah, exactly that. So at what point during your sentence could you see the finish line? Ooh. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's getting fucking close now.
When my decap parole come up, so that was after. How long did I do now? Is that after 9? After 9 years, yeah. After 9 years. That was when, like... No, actually, though. I'll go before that, actually. So, I was in Aylesbury. I was in there from 2011 to, like, 15 or something like that. Yeah, I think I was there from 11 to 15. And I assumed I was going to go to a BCAT. Mm-hmm. But because I'd been there for so long, and I was like 20, I think I went over, I was like 22 or something like that. You meant to leave there when you're 21. And they managed to get me my CCAT, so that's when I went to Oakwood. And when I got my CCAT, that's when I thought, I've skipped a whole step here. Yeah. And I was like, okay, it's coming. That was the first inkling of like, okay, it's getting kind of close. And then when it got real, when I was like, oh yeah, I'm going home soon, was when my parole for going to DCAT came up. Mm-hmm. That was when it was like, yeah. Alright, cool, it's crunch time now. I need to make sure I don't get into trouble. No fights, no arguments with anybody.
All you people.
Yeah, make sure. What courses do I have to do? Yeah. I've done my TSB, I've done CALM, I've done all these courses. Alright, cool, I'm good, and I just got to behave myself kind of thing. And then, when you're getting close to that, that's when it kind of like, yeah, man, it gets serious. It probably gets serious. And that's when you feel like you can start planning for your future, if you get what I mean. Now you can start actually thinking, what am I going to do when I get out? What road do I want to go down?
You scared to go out?
Then no, I felt like I was excited. I got lucky. The group of friends that I picked, I feel like that was the best thing I've done in my life so far is pick good people to be surrounded by. Because when I got locked up, I think that my friends, like I said, all of us weren't delinquents. It was only a couple of us that was like proper on this stuff. When I got locked up, the ones that was like half in, half out, I think they saw the way that stuff could go. and they just kind of checked out, and they didn't have the kind of reputation or the name that they had to live up to like I did. So they could just check out and be out. And when they did, they went down like proper good paths, man. Like they had kids, started like little businesses by themselves. So my two close friends, they have started a thing called Foundation for the Future in Birmingham. So they go into schools, they try and get kids that are looking like they're going to go down the road that I had, and try and put them on the right path. So they started that up. So that was, whilst they was talking about building that, they was coming to me on visits and talking about it, and then they started doing it, and then they started going into schools. You know what I mean? So I'm seeing all this happening, and I'm just like, right, these are like doing it.
Life after prison.
You get what I'm trying to say? Like, yeah, like they're these are doing something very positive, and kind of like by this time I kind of wanted to go down that road. I was thinking, do you know what, like, I feel like people are sold the story about the streets as like it's going to be glitz and glamour and all this type of stuff, and even sold the story of when you go to jail, you'd be nice, man, and this will happen, and everybody's chilling and having fun. And then when I went there, I realised that's it's none of that. So I kind of wanted to just get that out to people, kind of like being on this podcast. It's like, look, you can do whatever you want. I'm not trying to preach and tell you how you should live your life. Just know the realities of it, and then you can make a truly informed decision. So then they started doing that. Then I had a couple of friends that got into fighting, MMA. One of them went to the UFC, one was in the PFL. So then I'm seeing him living his life and like doing something really positive. And I'm just thinking, nah, man, there's something for me to do. And then social media started popping off, and I was like, oh, I'm into my fitness. I can kind of get into my fitness thing there, and you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So there was like, as I got closer to coming out, things become more clear of like which road I could go down. So then it was like I was more excited for it because I wanted to, all these things that I'd written down on my pad and stuff like that, I could start implementing them, I could start doing them, I could start like actually living out my dreams. So I was really excited, man. And then like I said, I had good people around me, and everybody was like G'ing me up and was like, you can do this kind of thing, you can actually do it. So I think I had a different experience than some people, because I had friends that done a lot less than me. And they was like, oh, I'm not sure about getting out, like what I'm gonna do and all that type of stuff. So yeah, man, I had a little bit of a different experience when it comes to that.
Was you ever worried about your past catching up with you?
100%. That was probably and still now, it's still now it's my worry, because again, I wouldn't sit here and blame him. You get what I mean? I wouldn't sit here and be like, oh, but I'm a changed person. That shit. I was like, I was involved in what I've involved with. And if you want to get me, I'm like, yeah, I get it. I'm not gonna let it happen, but I understand why. I understand the reason, and I'm not gonna be sitting there like, why me? I fully get it. So yeah, still now I do, and like I feel like the way that I move, like the missus says, I move paranoid sometimes, and it's like I feel like I had to build that up even bigger while you're in jail. Because you know, like, any moment someone can snake you for nothing. Yeah. You get what I mean? Or you can disrespect someone and not even know that you did. It was their goal next on the pool table, and you're playing. And someone could just slump you just for that. You get what I mean? Judas you for that. Yeah, you're there down thinking, and you wake up in what's it called, in your cell. So my paranoia in that sense was like proper, like that doesn't leave me kind of thing. Like there's certain ways, like when I sit in rooms where like I like to have my back to the wall and stuff like that. I can see everybody. I see everything. I like to know where the door is, all that type of stuff.
How is it like? Do you know what I mean? You did what you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whether you agree with it or not,
yeah.
You got sentenced to life.
Yeah.
12 years.
Yeah.
So you've been out of the game, what, 15 years?
Yeah, but as soon as that happened, I was done.
That's what I mean. Completely out of the game, 15 years. Moving on with life, bettering yourself, trying to encourage others to stay away from it.
Yeah.
And you don't know whether someone could come behind you and stab you.
Yeah.
How do you live with that? Because you're still young, you've got the rest of your life to go.
Yeah, man, it's... Now, you're always... So, this is the one thing that I'll say, is I realised how stressed I was when I was younger, when I got locked up. Because when I actually got locked up and I was in prison, I was away, all the beef that I had out there, I knew couldn't get me.
Yeah.
And subconsciously, it's like my body relaxed. I could finally sleep a solid 8 hours. You get what I mean? So then and then like I realised again as you get older and all this mental health stuff comes out, you realise like, oh, I was under crazy stress and I was always anxious and I was always this. And that built up a bit when I realised what jail was like, then it kind of grew back up. And then I'm more aware of it now. So when I'm out or I'm in certain places, so if I ever go back to Birmingham or anything like that to visit family, and I might like go to the shop, I can feel myself a bit like kind of like on edge, and I'm kind of weary about what's going on around me.
Yeah.
And then I might go to London, and that's gone. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like I can constantly feel it. Like when I'm in certain places, the air gets thick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The anxiety kicks in. Yeah, no, it does. Not to the point where I'm like breaking down and I can't live, but it's to the point where it's like I know that I'm hypersensitive, and someone might be talking to me and I'm not really listening, or I see like a shadow and I'm like, boom, I'm bang on it. You know what I mean? Or like, what was that? Didn't I see someone? Or a car drives slow and I'm kind of like, that's gonna double back. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I've got that in my head, kind of thing. That's gonna double back. Okay, let's get ready. Let's thingy. So there's times where I've done it with the wife where I've took stuff out of my pockets because I think I might get active now. So let me take this out of my pocket and I'll give that to her. So I put that in your bag, and I'm kind of like sat myself in my chair, so I'm ready for. You get what I mean? And it's like it's like it's not a way to live, but I can't see another way to do it because I'm not going to be a victim. You get what I mean? At the same time, I'm not gonna just let it happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, just gotta live with that. I don't think it'll ever go. I don't think I will ever go.
Yeah.
Nah.
So you was in prison. You did your 12. You bettered yourself in there the best you could.
Yeah.
Using what's around you.
Yeah.
So what was you doing when you got out?
I got out and straight. Thing was just straight. I need to earn some money, kind of thing. Like that was the thing, and obviously, all that road stuff is out of the window. So it's like I'm never gonna go back to try and be shotting or anything like that. And the easiest way of entry was construction. So while I was in DCAT, they done a good thing to get your CSCS card. So I was in there, I could work, I could be a labourer. So I just went straight into labouring. And then from there, I was just like, all right, cool. Because they don't really ask for like background checks or anything like that. Because you're not working for the public, I think. And then it was just like working up through that then. I was like, what's the next thing? Okay, well, I can be a plant operator. Boom, became a plant operator. And I'm just going down that path really. My dream really is to like get into PT, and so I've done that for a period of time. Because that's another avenue for people in jail. And also, it's like, I think I get it from my dad. He done athletics. I used to see him get people to perform at their highest possible level.
Yeah.
So I feel like I kind of following in that type of footsteps, and was like, yeah, man, I want to see people like better themselves, lose weight, get massive, and like I'd be like, oh, I've done that. You get what I mean? So I've got them two things going on. I want to get into construction, but the goal is, and the dream is, PT, help people mindset. You know what I mean? Really get them into like the best version of themselves that they can be. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all I've been doing for work really.
So last couple of questions, mate.
Yeah.
Obviously you're done with everything.
Yeah.
Do you think? Obviously, people are going to be thinking, especially the victims, friends, family, that you should be locked away for the rest of your life, and your Cody also.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
I'm never gonna tell the victim's family or victims in general, to be honest, how they should feel towards the person that's done what they've done to them. If you hate me for the rest of your life, I get it. If you forgive me, thank you. But I'm never going to be like, well, you shouldn't look at it like that. You should look at it this way. You feel however you want to feel about it. To other people that don't have anything to do with this scenario, I'll put it this way. Look, we was kids at the time. We didn't fully understand the ramifications of our actions. Of course, we know that people could always pass away, but you never believe it's going to be you. You never, if you're in your mind, you think, if I'm not trying to do it, it's not going to happen. Kind of thing. You get what I mean? So I feel like a second chances have to be given in that instance. Now, if I was a big 30-plus-year-old man and I've got kids and I'm doing all this, and then I've decided to run out one day and do somebody harm, and it's happened, maybe that's a different story. But I feel like being young, impressionable, people make mistakes. You don't really understand the consequences of your actions. And I don't know. You can't just keep people locked away forever.
Course,
you
yeah.
get what I mean? You can't. You just can't.
A lot of people will say a life for a life. They will say that, but
the thing is, if you want to play that game, then it just never ends.
Exactly. Yeah.
You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
That just never ends. And that doesn't make any sense.
No, I agree. Like, you've been given a sentence, you've done your time. Whether people think that's not long enough, that's not your choice. That's out of your control.
Yeah.
What would have locking you up another 10 years going to do in reality? Fuck all.
It's true, and I think I feel like you gotta use what people are best for. I feel like right now, this time now, I'm best served to be out here trying to tell my story, warn people off, doing this type of stuff instead of just being behind bars as like just being there. Look, in America, they lock people off forever and they keep them, they execute them and stuff like that. It's changed nothing. So we know that doesn't work. Then keeping people locked up for the rest of their life or doing a life for life executing them doesn't change anything. People are still going to be violent. People are going to still be out there doing what they're doing. But look, everyone's got their own beliefs and how things should be.
Yeah.
It's just funny. I find it funny how it changes because I don't know how I'd be acting in this situation. I just find it funny where when it's their family that's done something to somebody else that it changes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you've done something, he should be away for everything. But my cousin done something, but he's really a nice boy, and if you knew him when he was younger, he would. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People and everybody can do that. Everyone can justify why their family member shouldn't be away or shouldn't be away or anything like that.
Yeah.
I think like rehabilitation is the only way. You can't locking people up forever is crazy. And I would say with stuff like when it comes to that type of violence, like murder or anything like that, you know the difference between somebody that's stabbed somebody 85 times to someone that stabbed someone once and they've lost their life.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Yeah.
So how are we gonna play that out then?
Yeah.
There's a difference. Whereas stuff like that for me, anything like any of the non-stuff dealing with little kids or doing something to women, that's like you really chose to make that happen. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
You haven't accidentally fondled a child, but yet they'll get a 4-year sentence.
If that.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
If that.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. They might just have to do a course.
Just do a course and then that's it. So it's like where are we putting our kind of concerns?
Of course.
That's how I see it.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I think you've done what you've done as a child.
Yeah.
You fucked up. You've took someone's life.
Yep.
You've got to live with that for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
One day your kids might Google you.
Yeah, that's
stuff,
a whole nother thing. Yeah.
That's stuff you have to live with, and rightly so because that's your actions, isn't it? Yeah. And you take accountability for 100%. That, you know,
100%.
The label murderer.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it because I'm not. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not. I feel like there's even with the sentence. Well, we've done it now, so I've come to terms with it. I've done the sentence. It is what it is. I'm just gonna crack on with my life. But the label of it is just like it's a bit much because even when I explain it to people, they'll be like, "Well, you're not really though, are you then?" And it's like, "Yeah, I don't consider myself as either."
But you don't always get the opportunity to explain either.
Yeah.
Like I get anxious, and I've only been doing it since August, since I started this, to tell people I'm bipolar.
Okay, yeah.
Like, I'm embarrassed about that.
Okay, then, yeah. How people are going to take it.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? They might think this motherfucker's a nutcase. We've gone through some things already, but they might think I'm a fucking nutcase, and I get anxious and paranoid about that.
Yeah.
And then I could never imagine having to go to somebody, job interview.
Yeah.
Oh, what was you in prison for?
And it's like it's heavy.
Murder.
It's heavy.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? And it's like
it's evil.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's like it's and it's labelled with that, rightly so. I get it. It's labelled with that.
But like you says, you can be a one-punch killer in a street fight, or you can stab someone 150 times.
And when you hear the word murder, you choose the
most.
latter. Yeah. You go, oh, we must have done something really horrific. And then most people, when I've explained it to people, even in there, like I can imagine people would look at me in a way like, "Oh, you in jail for murder? Like, what happened then?" And I'll tell them the story, and then they'll be underwhelmed, like, "Oh, so you didn't do anything?" I was like, Or like, you didn't do it. I was like, yeah, no, I didn't. And it's like, then they're like, oh, okay, so they just got you locked up, kind of. You're labelled with the murderer, but you're not physically the murderer. You get what I mean? It's just a label, but you don't get the chance to explain that to certain people. You get what I mean? Imagine on a first date with a girl. That's I have to talk about that. It's not giving it a chance. You get what I mean?
Always a 12-year gap in your dating.
Yeah.
Well,
what was you doing in 2015? It was I was looking at a wall, bro. Yeah, man. So it's difficult, but again, it is what it is, and I just gotta live with it, and I just gotta rock with the cards that I got dealt, man. And there's a lot of people that are in a lot of worse situations than I am. So I'm not going to sit here and be boo-hoo about it. Yeah, it is what it is.
Last question.
Talk to me.
I ask this everyone, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah? On the spot.
Go on.
You sat here today, all your knowledge, wisdom, lived experiences, can go back to a 10-year-old you.
10-year-old, okay.
What would you say to yourself?
What would I say to myself? Give me a second. What would I say to myself? Do you know what it is? 10-year-old me was a nice kid. It was like a proper happy kind of kid. I'll probably just try and just hold on to that. Don't take things too seriously, because I think that's what happened to me. I got really serious, and I got no one can talk to me. You know what I mean? I became that person. No one could talk to me like that. Disrespect, and I became that. Don't take things too seriously, and you'll grow up to be somebody that you'll be proud of. I think that's what I'd say. Yeah. Because I'm happy with the person I am. Yeah. Like, I wouldn't want to be anybody else, kind of thing.
You know, after what you've just said about 10-year-old you, where you was, if I had to go back and speak to a younger you, firstly, you'd probably say what you're doing in my bedroom. But I'd say, be you.
Yeah, but I'm not.
Be your brother.
It's true. Yeah,
be
it's
you.
True. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
So obviously, at first, your brother was the influence.
Yeah.
And then you kind of outgrew him.
Yeah, but then I was like,
and you was you.
I was me, but I'd already. Yeah. It's true. Yeah, no, it's true.
He influenced you.
Yeah.
Instead of the sweet athletic shoe.
Yeah, because I had that. Yeah, man. I had that side to me. That's what my mum would always say to me. You're such a sweet boy. No.
Yeah. So, mate, what would you say now to any 12, 13, 15, 16-year-olds listening on the road with their boys, thinking it's all to fucking laugh?
Do you know what it is? Most of you will grow out of it, but too late. This is the thing. It's really a small moment in time that you think all of these things are important, and it's gonna take no less than 3 years for you to realize that all that's bullshit. But for some people, it's gonna be too late. They've either done something horrible, something's horrible happened to them, or they've lost friends and stuff like that. So it's just it's not that deep. Everything that's going on is not that deep. You'll get over it. People will forget about it. He will say something to violate you. In a week, it will be forgotten about. Don't worry about it. It's not that deep.
Words, isn't it?
It's just words. That's what it is. A lot of things are just words. You're not gonna look back 10 years and be like, oh, I remember when so-and-so said that. You know what I mean?
When he called me a pussy in 2014.
You don't care.
Yeah.
You don't care. And I got to the stage now. People used to probably try and say, I used to hear people say stuff behind my back and stuff like while I was inside and stuff like that. I used to just let it roll off my shoulder, not because I was shook. Not because I was shook about it. I didn't want to fight though, because I had my pro coming up. I had my pro come, so I didn't want to. But at the same time, I didn't have that same kind of fire in my belly, because I was just like, it don't matter. I don't care about this guy. He doesn't care about me. Really. It's actually meaningless. People that love you and that are around you take what they say about you seriously. So when they say that you're letting us down, hold that one then. You should feel that deeply in your heart, and you should be thinking, all right, cool, I want to be better for them, I want to do better for them. Or when someone's saying, you're on the right path, you should hold that and be like, do you know what? I'm happy. I'm doing something, you know what I mean? I'm doing something correct. But that idiot that's going to call you a pussy behind your back, that's fucking smoking Mamba in his cell or wherever, you know what I mean? Doing whatever he is. Like, who cares about my man? So, yeah, man, be yourself. It's not that deep. And you're better than you think you are, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just say, obviously I've got kids in it.
Yeah.
And they go to school in Warsaw.
Yeah.
I remember I said about the schools and that, like the primary school age, and I say like I want the kids to go to secondary school up here.
Yeah.
Better.
Yeah.
Why not? And you know, with their mom, it's like, oh, but their friends. What about their friends? What about this? I'm like, the friends are going to be in their life for the meet at school. In reality, probably 5% of their life. Their friends ain't going to pay their bills when they're older. And it's time to the lads now running around on roads like with a knife and that. Like, look at the big picture. Look where you want to be when you're 25, 26, 27. Do you want a car? Do you want a house? Do you want holidays? Do you want kids? Because the boys you're surrounding yourself, the clowns in reality, are just, they ain't going to pay your bills. Do you know what I mean? They ain't going to pay your lawyer fees.
Yeah, no, it's true. It is true, man. And you, I think when you're like that age, you think you can't see, like you say, you can't see any further. It's like, this is the world. This
That's
is like
your
life. This
yeah.
is life. This means everything. And it's not that deep. It's not that deep at that time. You've got like, there's bigger things to come, better things to come if you just take your time. And like you said with your friends as well, they'll make new friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That.
You make new ones. Like, it's not that big
not
of
the
a
end
deal.
of the world.
It's not that big of a deal.
But you think it is as a child, which is mad, but
you find hard to let it go.
Yeah. Put yourself first.
Yeah, 100%.
Right, mate, I can fucking sit here and chat shit all day.
Yeah, that's
I love it. But nah, bro, anything else to finish on?
Nah, bro, I think that's it, man. It's good, man. It was good. I'm happy again. Proper happy again.
Yeah, man. Good, man. I appreciate you travelling, big man.
Nah, it's calm.
My guy.
Yeah.
Bro.
Thank you for listening to From Rock Bottom. If this episode spoke to you, please subscribe, like and share. It really helps us keep doing this work and bringing these stories to light. You can also follow us on social media for updates, behind the scenes content and ways to get involved in the conversation. Most importantly, if you're struggling right now, please don't suffer in silence. Reach out, talk to someone, seek support. You are not alone, and you are absolutely worth life. Take care, keep fighting, and we'll see you in the next episode.